Hello, everyone. This is Malik from Malik's Mystical Magic. I am an astrologer, energy reader, a numerologist, spiritual practitioner. I'm here today for tarot, not astrology. And I'm going to be dropping zodiac messages. I've been doing so over the last few days. So I still have Cancer, Libra, Aquarius, and Pisces to do. And I'll probably pop out next week with what Spirit wants us to know. So the first zodiac is up for Cancer. And before we get into it, as an astrologer, I do want to highlight how this new moon that took place in Taurus 2 days ago could be impacting you. Okay. So, from an astrological standpoint, Cancer, this new moon in Taurus that took place on the 16th activated your 11th house. Okay, so this is kind of putting spotlight on your friendships, your social circles, your community, and your long-term goals. So this is about who you're connected to, who you're aligning with, and whether those connections actually support where you're trying to go. So, Cancer, this is a moment here of asking yourself, are the people around you adding to your growth, or are they keeping you stagnant from reaching your goals? Because this is about your goals, your vision, for your future, and then making sure what you're working toward is truly aligned with you and not influenced by the wrong crowd or outside expectations. Okay, so let's see what's going on, starting with what's the T, Cancer. Okay, after that, I'll break it down using the Modern Witch Tarot deck there. Okay, let me see, let me get my hand right there, the Modern Witch Tarot deck. So we'll use that as a tarot, and I'll finish it off with my Sacred Forest Oracle deck by Denise Lynn. So with that said, let's get into what's the T. Okay, these cards have been shuffled all around, up and down, but I look it upright. Okay, so Spirit, tap into the energy of Cancer. Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. Let's see here. Cancer. Cancer Spirit. What is it that Cancer needs to know about what the T is? Cancer. Okay. Let's go. Okay. Okay, Cancer, let's see. What's the T? Okay, so we have in their head, overthinking, stressed, over analyzing. Okay, Cancer, this could be you or someone else around you, and then dust it off. Okay, this is what Spirit wants you to know. And then hooked is the next card. In their head, dusted off, and hooked. All right, bottom of the deck here is a dirty offer. Okay, a dirty offer that could be tied to some travel. Okay, travel is behind that. Okay, so kind of looking at what the T is telling me off the bat. Overanalyzing, dusting off, and hook. Interesting set of cards, I'd say. So, what I'm seeing, Cancer, somebody is overthinking something very heavily. This is stress, analyzing, replaying things in their head, trying to make sense of a situation. Okay, there's a contradiction here as well, because dusted off, on the outside it looked like you're good, you're over it, or it's whatever, right? But internally, that's not the full truth here. Okay, because then we got hooked. So Cancer, This is giving me energy of someone who is still attached. Okay. Now, whether this is you or someone around you, there's something or someone that you're trying to move on from, but the connection, the habit, or the emotional tie is still there. So it's like mentally stuck, emotionally attached, but trying to act unbothered. That's what I'm picking up. And with this dirty offer at the bottom of the deck, with this dirty offer here, Cancer, this is something that doesn't fully sit right. An offer, a situation, a connection that may look tempting, but there's something about it that's off. And then with the travel, behind that, this could be the Chariot because you do represent the Chariot in the main tarot deck. This card involves distance, movement, someone coming and going, or a situation that isn't stable or consistent. So what I'm picking up here is there's a situation that you're trying to move past, but you're still mentally tied to it, okay? And now something or someone may be coming back around with the offer, but Spirit is asking you to look at it carefully. Because just because you're still attached doesn't mean it's still good for you, okay? So let's go ahead and get into the tarot and see what's really going on underneath all this tea that we got here. All right, Spirit, tap into the energy of Virgo and how do we connect this tea? What is it that Spirit wants Virgo to know at this time? What is it that Spirit wants Virgo to know at this time? Thank you. What does Spirit want Virgo to know at this time? Okay. Okay, Virgo. Let's see here. We have first card out is Four of Swords. Okay. Temperance. Page of Swords. Ace of Swords. Ten of Wands. And Ten of Cups. Overall energy for you is the Devil. Dirty offer. Attachment. Okay. All right. So here we go. In your head, which is the card that came out. In your head. Bottom of the deck. Nine of Swords. The Star. Five of Pentacles. Three of Cups. And Four of Pentacles. Okay. So based on what I'm seeing off the bat here with just your baseline cards here is with the Four of Swords here and the Temperance. Okay. With the Four of Swords and the Temperance here. Cancer. I'm sorry. If I have been calling you Virgo, I apologize. I just did Virgo reading. So I am dealing with Cancer, okay? The crab. Cancer. Sorry if I mentioned Virgo. Now, Cancer here, this is rest, healing, and trying to regain some balance. You've been through something, and now you're kind of in a space of pulling back, reflecting, and trying to bring yourself back into alignment, okay? And then we have the Page of Swords and the Ace of Swords, okay? So even though you're resting, you're still watching, thinking, and seeking clarity. Okay. So something is on your mind and you want the truth. So you're either observing someone or you're trying to fully understand what happened. Okay. And then we get hit with the Ten of Wands and the Ten of Cups. Okay. So this is emotional fulfillment that has become a burden now for you, Cancer, okay? Something that once made you happy now feels real heavy, okay? So Cancer, this is like holding on to something that you wanted to work, but it's also talking more about taking more out of you than it's given, okay? It's draining you. Your overall energy is the devil. This is attachment. This is something that's hard to let go. This is what that hooked energy we saw earlier, something that keeps pulling you back, even though we know, you know, it's not healthy. That's the Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Okay, Cancer. So when you look at this here, okay, the bottom of the deck, okay, this is literally in your head, Nine of Swords. But you're also trying to heal with the Star. You felt left out, hurt or abandoned with the Five of Pentacles here, okay? There may have been some third-party energy or outside influences. It doesn't always have to be romantic. It could just be someone getting in the middle of something that has distracted your partner, okay? So I will say that's something there, but you still holding on, okay? Still holding on. So this is not something that you fully released, okay? And so when I tie it back to the T, in your head, you know, trying to dust it off ain't gonna work. And that's like pushing it under the rug. It's got to be dealt with. You can't unsee it. You can't unknow it. So you're trying to move on, Cancer, but the attachment is still there. So what Spirit really wants you to know right now is take your time to heal, but be honest with yourself about what you're still holding on to. Because just because it once made you happy doesn't mean it's meant to stay, because it looked like you are not happy, okay? Or you're definitely trying to dust it off and appear to be happy, or it's okay, or it's going to work itself out. It won't. All right. So let's get into this more clarity here for you, Cancer. Okay. Let's go ahead and clarify. Okay. So Spirit, tap into the energy of Four of Swords for Cancer. Why is the Four of Swords here for Cancer? Knight of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, and Five of Wands. Okay, clarifying the Temperance now. Temperance is clarified by Knight of Wands. Everything is fine, and Eight of Pentacles. Page of Swords is clarified by Five of Pentacles, the Emperor, and Knight of Pentacles. Clarify the Ace of Swords, Spirit, for Cancer. Why is this here? Ace of Swords is clarified by King of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, and the Magician. Okay, clarify Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands is clarified by the King of Swords. And Nine of Swords and the Eight of Wands. Clarify the Ten of Cups for Cancer, Spirit. Clarified by the Hanged One, the High Priestess, and Page of Pentacles. Now the overall energy is the Devil. Please clarify that for Cancer, Spirit. If you like your own personal reading, my details are in the description box, my website, where you can find me and book your reading. Devil is clarified by, Two of Swords, okay? King of Wands and Seven of Wands. Okay, bottom of the deck is Seven of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, Page of Wands, and the Sun with Six of Cups. Okay, Cancer. Okay, let me marinate. Okay, so I think I'm ready to tell this story here. We are clarifying the Four of Swords, okay, with the Nine of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, and the Five of Wands, okay? So we're clarifying the Four of Swords with these cards. Nine of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, and the Five of Wands. So Cancer, you've got, I would say, or you're in a space of rest, healing, pulling back, okay? But at the same time, you're trying to get back to yourself. Get back to your happiness with the Nine of Cups. With the Knight of Cups, okay? You know, and your independence with the Nine of Pentacles, while still internally dealing with internal conflict or outside tension with the Five of Wands, okay? So this is you trying to find peace, but there is still something unsettled, okay? Now, hold on. Let me get this call. Okay, thank you for being patient. Okay, so we just got through clarifying the Four of Swords for you, Cancer, with the Knight of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, and the Five of Wands. Okay, so basically, if you didn't hear it before I answered my call, this is you trying to kind of have peace, you know, still feeling something, trying to stand on your own, but there's still some tension here, okay? And then we get into the Temperance. Okay, the Temperance is the card that we're clarifying, okay? And we get into the Temperance here that's clarified by the Knight of Wands. Everything is fine. And Eight of Pentacles, okay? We're clarifying the Temperance. Why is this here? And so this is telling me that you've been trying to balance something that has been inconsistent, okay? With the Temperance here. That Knight of Wands is that on and off energy, which is the inconsistency, okay? Everything is fine. You're acting like it's okay and you're dusting it off, you know what I'm saying? But underneath all that, you are literally stuck in your head, hooked on it, okay? Hooked on it. So, Cancer, okay? I'm sorry if I called you Virgo from the beginning, but Cancer, you might have some very strong Virgo placements or a Virgo partner that I'm dealing with. But definitely what I'm seeing here is with the Eight of Pentacles, you've still been kind of putting effort into it. So Cancer, you've been trying to make something work, you know, even though it hasn't been stable for you, okay? And then we have the Page of Swords. All right. And so I clarified the Page of Swords with the Five of Pentacles. Okay. The Knight of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. So I'm clarifying the Page of Swords with the Five of Pentacles, Emperor, and the Knight of Pentacles. So what this energy is telling me, this is watching, thinking, analyzing, but from a place of feeling hurt and left out. Okay? Watching, feeling, analyzing from a place of feeling left out. And then we got the Emperor, which is control, and Knight of Pentacles, which is slow movement. So this is somebody observing, trying to regain control or move very cautiously after feeling that loss. Okay? And then we have the Ace of Swords, which is clarified by the Magician, Seven of Cups, and the King of Pentacles. All right, Cancer? So we're clarifying the Ace of Swords. And with this energy here, the truth, is here, okay? And it's going to be about what's real versus what's been confusing. And with the King of Pentacles, that is stable and grounded energy here. Okay. There are some illusions and some options. There's some manifestation going on or some influence. So Cancer, I would say you've gained some clarity, on what is actually real versus what kept you confused or guessing. Okay. You finally got some clarity on that. All right. I like that. And now we get to the part where it becomes burdensome for you. So we're clarifying the Ten of Wands, okay? And so when we clarify the Ten of Wands, we are clarifying it with the King of Swords, the Nine of Swords, and the Eight of Wands. Okay, so we clarifying the Ten of Wands with the King of Swords, Nine of Swords, and the Eight of Wands. Okay. So what this is telling me, sorry, prop it back up. Okay. So Cancer, what this is telling me is this is emotional fulfillment that's on pause. Okay. The burden, though, is mental. Okay. The burden is mental. There's a lot of overthinking, stress, trying to make some logical sense of something, and communication that's tied to it. So this is something that kind of has been weighing on your mind heavily, something that has been said or need to be said. And so with that emotional fulfillment here being on pause, okay, that is being clarified by the Hanged One, pause, High Priestess, and Page of Pentacles, okay? So what that tells me in clarifying the Ten of Cups here, okay, what this is telling me, Cancer, is that you already know the truth with the High Priestess, but now you're in a space of figuring out what your next move is with the Page of Pentacles, okay? It's a really simple reading when you break it down. Your overall energy is the devil, okay? And this could be overthinking. This could be fear, okay? Or attachment to something that's unhealthy. But when I clarified the devil, I clarified the devil with Two of Swords that fell out, okay? King of Wands and Seven of Wands, okay? So I'm clarifying the devil for you with these cards here. Why did this show up? Okay. Fire and fire. Ego or something like that. But that's what I'm picking up when I see this. This is attachment. Okay. So Two of Swords is telling me you've been really avoiding making a decision. Okay. There's some strong attraction and a strong pull, definitely with this devil card here. And there's some defensiveness. So Cancer, this is something that you're still connected to, boo, but also protecting yourself from. Okay. So The bottom of the deck is clear because this is the card for the lunation, new moon in Taurus, okay? And this is you really kind of, I would say, this is something you've invested into over time, okay? But it's shifting now, sweetheart. There's a new direction that Most High is guiding you towards where you're going to have clarity, okay? And it's going to be tied to something from the past, the Six of Cups. There you go. The emotional. All right, so Cancer, you've been trying to find peace in something that has been inconsistent, I'd say, for you, okay? But now you see it clearly. You feel it, you see it clearly. The only thing left is the decision, okay? So let's tie it in with your Sacred Forest Oracle message, what the numerology is saying, and close it out. Spirit, tap into the energy of Cancer. This right here is my Sacred Forest Oracle deck by Denise Land. Spirit, tap into the energy of Cancer. What is the message that they need to hear at this time? What is the message that they need to hear at this time? Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. Okay, so the card that come out is Burr Spirit. You're healing, babe. Okay. Card number 4. Oh, wow. Okay. Security. So that's that Bear Spirit. And at the bottom of the deck is Spirit Guardian of Summer Expansion. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. That is card number 37, which breaks down to a 10 endings that bring in new beginnings. Okay. So how this ties into your reading here, sweetheart. Bear Spirit. Okay, so Cancer. Bear Spirit is healing. Okay, this is powerful. Okay, because after everything we just saw, the overthinking, the attachment, the emotional weight, this is bringing you back to healing and protection. It's not about rushing. It's about, more so healing and protection than trying to force a decision. This is about stabilizing yourself emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And that number 4, that's that security, that foundation, that grounding. And when you with a bear, you feel secure, comfortable. Okay. I love that energy here. It's a sense of protection. All right. And so, Cancer, you're being guided to rebuild your sense of safety within yourself, not through a person, not through a situation, but within you. All right. And so, then when we look at the Spirit Guardian of Summer about expansion, card number 37, which breaks down to a 10, okay? 3 and 7, is a 10. So now we got completion that's leading into a new beginning. So Cancer, something is ending, a cycle, a pattern, an attachment, and it's creating space for you to expand into something new. All right. So everything we saw in this reading, Cancer, the confusion, the attachment, the overthinking, it's all part of a process that's bringing you back to yourself. Healing first, then expansion. Okay. So Cancer, take your time. You're not stuck. You are healing. Okay. So that you can grow into something better. I like that. I like that. I like that. So this concludes your message. If you love to dive deep, you like a personal reading on your own, you can find my details in the description. And with that said, love and light. Deuces.